Welcome to Din's Talk, the space where soul wisdom meets bold action. I'm Mia Dins, your host, here to ignite your fire, help you claim your power, and guide you to take unstoppable steps towards your dream. Every episode is designed to awaken your purpose, fuel your passion, and spark transformation in your life. It's time to step into your truth and never stop. Let's dive in. Welcome guys to another episode on Din's Talk. I'm so excited. My very best friends and soul family is here, Sara Mark, and we will talk about a very beautiful topic today that will probably be going for many episodes. But it is one of my favorites because, yeah, that's what we do, what we all do. And what I want to bring to the light more, it's about intuition, our personal GPS, our guidance system. It's so beautiful. And I thought, why not talking to Sara and Mark about it? Because we do it all the time and they work with it and we train this muscle and it's beautiful. And we work together. So why don't you guys introduce yourself first? In whatever shape or form you would like to do that. And then we will get into some questions and just flow, see where it goes.
Okay. Thank you, Mia. Beautiful to connect with you again. And for everyone listening, my name is Mark. We have Sara here as well, my beautiful soulmate.
Hello, everyone.
And yeah, we're from Perth, Australia at this present moment. And yeah, something about us is we've really just discovered, I guess, this soulmate frequency, this soulmate energy connecting with each other, particularly over last year. So we went on a bit of a journey. Like I was with Mia beforehand with the Awakening program. Sara went on a bit of a journey herself with the frequency and energetics work.
A little bit.
And, through that process, we found each other along the way. And definitely a big part of that was the intuition, tuning into the intuition and that little voice, that gut feeling inside. And yeah, we all have our own way of doing that. But Sara, you want to include anything in the introduction I feel missing?
First of all, hello everyone. My name is Sara, and I just want to say, of course, everything that Mark shared, this beautiful journey of connecting with my own intuition, with myself more, loving myself more, helped me, of course, to attract Mark. But I just want to give a big shout out to Mia first before we begin.
Oh yeah.
This. Because there is a couple of things that change in my life. Really, I have been in the personal development and expansion, growing myself, changing, doing my business. Have been in marketing and business coach for 6 years, doing a lot of work on myself, but there is nothing that did bring me closer to the growth and the expansion that I experienced over the past 6 months. And guess what? It all started with the moment I met Mia. And there are a couple of things that changed for me massively. First, I found this man, which is my soulmate, which is the love of my life, and all thanks to the work that I did with Mia. And the second thing, which is not it's the thing that also changed my life after Mark, has been connected with my own intuition and my own guidance. And that unlocked the channeling gift that I have. And I started to lead my business without strategy, but just by following my own intuition, which is after 6 years as a business and marketing coach, has been a big change for me. Very challenging, very stretchy, very hard sometimes because it's completely the opposite. And I just want to say thank you to Mia because that's how everything started, through her help, through the session that me and her did every single month, through the unbelievable support that she gives you before one session to another. And that's how she helped me to, Mia, receive it all. And that's how she helped me to really change my entire life in very few months. And that's how I attracted Mark and discovering my gift at the same time. And, it has been really magical because I feel very happy and fulfilled now. Doesn't matter the challenges, doesn't matter, the days where still my healing take place and there are still blocks, there are still things to work through, that's an ongoing work that never stops. But doesn't matter that, I feel on purpose now. I feel really connected with my soul. I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do in this lifetime now. There is no doubt. It's just a matter of when. is going to happen. I mean, it's already happening. It's already happening. But, you know, like what I see, the vision that I have, the whisper of my soul, I never feel tuned in with myself like I am now. And then this man as well, really like everything that I desired in one person, and all thanks to this incredible woman.
Thank you, Mia.
No, thank you, guys. Thank you for being beautiful. It's all togetherness. I was just helping you to remember. I know I take the credit. Thank you, because I do the work as well every single day to keep my vessel clean so I can receive and be of service. That's the work I do. But the information, that's not me. That's coming from source. However, that's why I invited you guys. So beautiful, because it's such a special thing, especially when you are with your soulmate, to keep, you know, like there's a way of like tuning into your own intuition, but also how you can connect, you know, with each other. And it can be, of course, at the beginning, it's like, you know, like I always like the analogy of like intuition is your GPS, and it's like you're putting like two different GPS together, and it can be like the radar can be a little bit getting out of like balance, you know, the needle, like, oh, what's going on, because there's another energy. And then of course this can influence, but you will obviously train that muscle and train that, so you get used to it. So how, in general, like how have you experienced that? Like obviously you both first, it is your soulmate connection. You haven't had this connection before in relationships. And what can you say, like how has it amplified your intuition? What were challenges, and what do you do on a daily basis to tune in?
Yeah,
I can start with something like when we first started to connect, Mia, like Sara and I. Sara is on the other side of the world, so she was in Italy and I was in Perth, and we had this insane connection where Sara could feel what I was feeling, and it hasn't left. Like there's still times where Sara can pick up on the thoughts that I'm experiencing, and just these moments of synchronicities where she reaches out and like, hey, you feeling this? I'm like, oh, actually, yeah, I am. Like I'm going through this. So with this soulmate connection, it's something that's far beyond like the words. And even like when you're describing like two GPSs coming together, I feel in our experience it hasn't been like that at all. Like it doesn't feel like there's a trying or there's a, you know, working out. I feel like it's very, very natural. And like something that Sara and I express often is that like we complete each other's love languages without even trying. You know, like all of them are done. Like it's all these things that sort of just align very naturally. The real work for us is just really just having that space together where we can work on our stuff. That is a lot of the stuff that is that sort of jammy stuff is the past, is our previous relationships, is, you know, like our past traumas and things like that. But the beautiful thing is when we come together is we've created a space that allows us to go through those blocks and those sort of headbutting moments together. We can support each other and just hold space for each other in those moments. But in terms of like a direction and GPS, it's been very natural for us just to have one way. And I feel like that's how it's just happened, like throughout the birth of Unfiltered, like our business together, our podcast, everything. We've just naturally found our own way together, and it hasn't been like a trying sort of scenario.
No,
beautiful. Before you say something, Sara, it's interesting because you know what? The reason why I formulated that question that way is because I haven't experienced it that way before. So I only know that way, and totally natural that all the stuff you bring in from past relationships, that's the work. That is what we do in relationships, right? And we will share more and more about that also with your beautiful business, where we also work together. And because that's what Sara and Mark are doing, you know, helping other people to connect with their soulmate, either find it, attract it, or when they're already in a great relationship to improve it and actually see what's truly behind the curtains. And also for the audience, quickly, intuition is the word that I use right now, but there's so many different words for it, you know, like higher self, inner voice, feeling, knowing, gut feeling, whatever. But I just choose to use intuition right now to, whatever people subscribe to, just to let people know out there. And Sara, now, sorry, I budged in. What did you want to add anything about that feeling?
Something like that I noticed. Something like that I noticed with the intuition, like, you know, leading your life, like the intuition. I think like the first time I started to connect with my intuition, and of course it will be different for everyone, it's when I trusted what I was feeling with Mark, like exactly what he said, right? I was in Italy and it was in Australia. I had no idea if I will ever actually be back in Australia. And I had this whisper, like this, the voice inside of me telling me, you have to go back, you have to see him. And it didn't make any sense. And you remember me, back then I was telling you, you didn't know that it was Mark, but I was telling you about this guy, this mysterious guy that I was talking every day. And I had this sense of known. I think like for who doesn't listen right now, your intuition is something that you just know. You just know that it's right. You can't explain in words. You can put it together. It doesn't even make any sense to the normal people, because when I was trying to tell my best friend about, you know, this guy and everything that I was feeling, come on, Sara, let it go. You know, you are in Ibiza, just have fun. Don't think about, and you know, I couldn't because that, my voice, the voice inside of me were telling me to go. And I basically just follow it. I stopped to listen to my mind, because of course, if I was listening to my mind, I will not be with Mark right now. Because my mind was a no, a constant no. And I'm not saying that our mind is never right. There are moments that our mind tries to protect us or help us through a day-to-day life. But your intuition, your inner voice knows best, because it comes from the heart. And the heart knows what it is that you truly want, what it is that you truly desire. And that's basically how I unlocked the first real connection with my inner voice. It started with Mark. And from there, it's just becoming stronger now. Now I don't listen to anything except my inner voice. And it become, you know, like a muscle, just like you say, you know, every day it's a daily thing that I do. And I practice also with Mark, sometimes with simple things. It doesn't have to be all the time crazy things. I'm starting to practice this with normal stuff that it's not really like a big deal, like what we should have for dinner. Do we feel like this? Or do we feel like this? You know, like with simple things every day to get used to it. With your, you know, to practice how you can listen to your intuition more, because we already know everything inside of us. It's just we are not listening sometimes. That's why.
That's gold. That's amazing, especially these like day-to-day stuff, because that is what I'm telling people too. It doesn't have to be like a grand thing. Like, it's not about moving countries every week or like, you know, this kind of stuff. It is literally like that. To tune into your body. Your body will tell you what you need, what you truly, and I can vouch for that because I have been on this experience for years. You know, I'm an intuitive eater, like always have been. And because never anything fitted. You know, whenever anyone tried to give me some sort of recipes or whatever, or like a plan, I would, you know, take suggestions. And I was always open because obviously something wasn't right, but it just didn't work. It just felt so constrictive. And yes, there will be a lot of people like, now, but how do I know about the calories and deficit? Of course, as a beginner, you still use these tools, and I still do. You know, I measure things so I know my macros, because I have certain goals to work on my body, to shape it, to sculpt it, to have a better recovery, to, you know, and the athletic performance and stuff. I do. But it's very intuitive. So if I need more nuts, then I need more nuts, and I need more fats. That's what my body needs at certain times in the cycle, and just learning to listen to it. Also, I know you guys recently had a big cleanup, which is beautiful, right? I always tell people as well, before, like a good practice daily is as well with like clothing or certain objects you have in your house. Hold it onto your body, feel into it. Does it feel good? Yes or no? And then stick with that. And the mind may come in, but my grandmother gave me that when I was 10, so I want to hold on to that. And yes, of course, there are sentiments and stuff like that. And I'm not saying like throw everything away, but really tune in. Are you just holding on to it because you feel like you have to, because your grandmother gave it to you? And I was a big person like that at times, but because of my nomadic lifestyle, when I was, you know, in my early 20s, I started to move countries and stuff like that. I just had to learn to let go, because, oh my God, I could not carry everything with me, right? And knowing that we can be connected to that at any given time anyway. So tell me, how did you feel about the clearing process?
A lot of beautiful things happened here. I love that. Love you sharing that. Like, we had a look here. I think it was like Friday night or something. Saturday morning was when it happened. But Friday night, there was something before that with like we're at this place where we're like just fully surrendered, just like hand it over to God, surrender it. Like, you know, these things aren't happening the way that we want to happen. Like, we're such attached to things, we've got to let it go. And then we decided on the Saturday that we're going to have a self-care day. So that was the intention the night before, handing it over. And then the morning we felt like we're going to have a slow day, self-care day. And then intuitively the next thing happened is we started to clean up. We started to have a look around the room, in our bedroom, and like, let's get out of it. Let's get everything out. And like a little bit different to your experience, Mira. I've been talking about like holding on to things. For us, it's like I was just grabbing out everything really. But because a lot of the stuff just had to go, like a lot of the old clothes. But I can relate. I think maybe it's like when we're early on in our journey, we have that attachment to the things. But you're right, as you discover that nomadic lifestyle, or just like starting to actually take action in certain times, you become less and less attached to the physical objects. And so for me, easy decision. Like when I first moved into Sara, like in October last year, like there was a lot of clothes that I did hold on to. But this time around, having this moment of like letting go of a lot of stuff, a lot of the clothes went, and we donated those clothes. We did have like an intention as well. We said, for the next person to have those clothes, to have a beautiful journey with them. It's time for them to experience it, time for us to let it go. And there's another room as well we have for my girls. They come over every second weekend, and we just like cleaned out everything as well there, like all of the stuff. Yeah, so they have that space. So when they can come in, they can feel that energy of like a clear space, being a clear vessel, and allowing
new clothes for them too.
New clothes for them as well. That was all sorted out, so all organized. So it was very clear and clean. And from that, Mia, like incredible things happen when you just open that space up, like, and allow that space to come through. And I think this actually resonates for me of like my intuition. How I actually tune into my intuition is actually like going into stillness and silence, allowing that space for the guidance to come through.
Tell me what did happen yesterday. What did you done yesterday?
What did I do?
What did you done?
Can't remember. What did I?
Your gift.
Oh, yes, that's right. So that's right. So we had that clearing yesterday, and then
Saturday.
Yeah.
Yesterday was Sunday.
Saturday. Yeah, sorry, days. And then Saturday night, like we had the intention. We wanted to like a beautiful intention with our relationship. And so, got the sage art and everything, sat down cross-legged and stared into each other's eyes. And there I was setting an intention through to Sara, but it wasn't expressing any words. I was actually sending like this telepathically, my intention to her, like just loving her, and just had this pretty esoteric experience of just staring into her eyes. And I could see all like her past lives. It's like flash, 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 all of her past lives as a young girl, as an old girl, and like her face was shifting and evolving and stuff, which is really interesting. But in that moment, I was giving love, like I was expressing my love and my intention to our relationship with Sara. And that's when, she started, but there was no words being expressed.
I started to cry. I literally felt it, the words, but it wasn't speaking. So it was basically telling me with telepathy everything that he was feeling, and I started to cry, and I really felt it, like his intention. He didn't really have to tell me what it was, because I felt it. So it did happen the same day that we clean up everything. So I think it's not a coincidence, because he actually making space now for him, for his new identity, for who he's becoming. Because I feel like the cleaning up the environment, it's about, this is who I am becoming. This is not who I am anymore. This is who I'm becoming. So you making space. And I remember Julia, our Julia, she's the one that told me, right now, just remove everything that doesn't feel you anymore. And doesn't matter if your room is going to be empty. It's much better empty than with things that are still attached with who you are not anymore. And that was the first gift that he unlocked, but that's not over. Last night.
Well, you have to fill in again.
Last night, the song.
Oh, I started playing guitar. I remember
he started to play guitar.
I remember I had a session with you, like an energetic session last month, and you said that you're channeling something intuitively, like was music, and it could be like light language and song and stuff. I picked up the guitar last night with Sara, and I started to play these chords, and it was very reminiscent of like the yum 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 yum, like opening of sound. So we started singing that and just playing these chords very intuitively, and that was actually like chords that were opening up the heart. So I started to play these songs, started just to sing like, open your heart, and it came just.
Yeah, but the best part, because he's making this less than what it is he started to play the chords. He created that. He did that.
Yeah. So I had to second guess myself and check and ask ChatGPT what are some good chords for opening the heart, and it's literally the chords that I was already playing. So nice just to remind yourself.
Beautiful. That's what I saw. You would create your own vibrations, healing through sound. One of your beautiful and many gifts. So it's beautiful. I love that. I get goosebumps. It's so beautiful. And I wanted to just touch on that, like with the space. That's what I'm always like saying to people, not just like, as well right now, because I don't have anything except for like a suitcase, which is filled, with everything I need, like my boxing gloves, my crystals, a bit of clothing, and that's it. And it makes me feel good. And I don't have any attachment. I don't have a bed to look after. I don't have and of course at times it's like, oh, I wish I would have, but it's very minimal. And it just makes me free right now. And that's what I also got guided and got told by Source so many times. I have to be flexible right now, adaptable, on the go, because things will change like that. They will just change. It's like someone will pull a rug beneath my feet and it will just throw me upside down, and that's what I have to be ready for. And because of the last year has been very extreme, with lots of moving, lots of letting go constantly, which is beautiful because I get forced to clear, cleanse, and call in the new mixed space. But it has, of course, also be challenging sometimes, because it can make you feel like, oh, where am I? Where's my home? But it was needed, because the more empty I am, then I can really, really make space for the version of me that I'm becoming, that I'm on this journey right now, that I have space for, and I have the capacity, to hold all that beautiful energy, which is beautiful, because if I was to hold on to all the old templates and stuff like that, I wouldn't be free. I wouldn't be able to really soar and like really expand. And that really is beautiful to see. So I'm not saying that everybody has to be like that on this journey. It's not for everyone, but that's what my soul signed up for, and that's the best for me right now. Makes sense, because I am throw me in the cold water kind of person. That's where I come up with my best, with the, that's just how I thrive. Not always the greatest for the ego, but it's just how it is. And letting go and allowing that, rather than resisting. I can feel the moment I resist and I try to control, be like, oh, I think I need to stay longer at some place, because I feel like, start to nest here, get a little bit comfortable. It's like, boom, the universe will just put something in the way. So I actually have to move again. And I'm not saying this forever. This is a very important chapter right now to prepare me for what's coming, right? And on that note, with the difference between the mind and the intuition, I know it's always this big question, and our mind will always try to control that. But how do you experience that? What can you tell to the audience from your experience? Like, what's the difference between, this is my mind right now, is that the mind, or is it like my inner voice?
Well, that's a big question. I definitely experienced it a lot, the mind and this like fighting between the two over the past few months. When I started again the business with Mark, and I started to run my business now with him in a completely opposite way that I ran it before. My mind comes along a lot. I feel now I am in a way that I will feel that I overcame it, but until like few months ago, few weeks ago, I would say, struggling with this. So how do I know when is the mind and when is the intuition? In my personal experience, and I think Mark experiencing the same, is when it's the mind, it doesn't feel easy. It feels that I am forcing myself somehow. When it's my intuition, when it's coming from my own intuition, it's very easy to do it. I don't feel drained. And sometimes even if it's connected with technology, which is my biggest enemy lately, really my biggest enemy lately. But when I'm doing something, for example, whatever is business or whatever is life, right? And maybe I can give some example about day-to-day life that is not connected with business for who doesn't listen, so they can relate more. I know it's my own intuition when it's very easy to do it. It just flows. It feels right. It takes me 3 seconds, 5 minutes, and boom, it's done. Even when I do content, Mia, if it comes from my own intuition, 5 minutes and the content is done. When it's the mind, I feel drained, exhausted, and it feels like I'm forcing myself. If it's a day-to-day life, it's exactly the same. So if it's something happens connected with personal stuff, I don't know. There is any example that comes up in your life, in your mind?
Well, one thing I'm thinking about is like when it's the intuition, it just happens in a moment like that. It's very, and it's very soft almost as well. And then that's it. Like that's it. That's the inner guidance, right? And then our mind comes in after that, from my experience of like, starts to organize it or starts to compare it, starts to like analyze it, and you know, how does my past experience be able to fit this little thing into the box and make it happen? But whereas the intuition, it just flows very effortlessly, naturally. Yeah, and it could be like if you wake up, say we woke up today, and then we're like, oh, naturally we just did like a meditation. And then after that, we'll guide it. Okay, oh, actually, we're really inspired. Like through this meditation, this intuition came of like, send this email. And then that email led to us creating a bit of content. And then, okay, then we naturally, intuitively feel like that's enough. Like it's time for us to get out of this place and go somewhere else. Whereas if it was the mind, it would feel hard. Yeah, keep working, you know, the willpower or whatever it is. You can certainly feel like there's a contrast in how it naturally feels, how it feels effortless, feels right, and how things just flow for you. But if it's not flowing, if it's like you're swimming upriver and you know there's rocks everywhere, that's when you know that the mind is coming in and trying to, you know, make it work. Yeah.
And also I feel that when it's the intuition, I am fired up. I'm excited. It feels like, no, I'm not even doing it. It feels really like the most natural things that I have done. And also from, you know, I can see things happen without me doing anything. Like not forcing anything to happen. It's like when we try to make it work, a relationship, or we try to make it work, a business, or we try to make it work, that friendship, or we try to make it work, that workout, that particular workout, because that PT told you to do the workout, but it's not working for you, which I experienced that as well, is because it's not in alignment. And I think intuition equal alignment with who you truly are. And things flow. It really flow without you doing nothing. I mean, you're doing something because you show up, you're taking action, you listening to the intuition, and then you take aligned action with that, but it just flows.
It feels like you're doing nothing.
It's just, you don't have to force it. So I think the moment that you try very hard, and I experienced that in every area of my life, with fitness, with my healing, with my own healing, with my ex-partner, with friends, with my ex-business, I try so hard. And that's why it didn't work in a way that I wanted, because it wasn't flowing, it was not in alignment. So I think that the biggest sign is, that's what we were talking a few days ago. If we feel that we try so hard, we have to stop. We have to stop, and we have to just take a break, like do something else, and then come back to it, and just wait for the intuition to guide us. Because if we feel that we try so hard, it means that we are not following our own intuition, and it's not in alignment what we're doing, and we have to step back. So that, I think, it can be a good sign for people. Like if you feel that you try so hard, that's how you know. That's how you know. What do you think, Mia?
No, absolutely. I totally agree. And now that's when most people would come in, you know, especially those who are very much in this penetrating, masculine, templated, you know, like energy. They would be like, but then you never get anything done. And how do you, but that's the total opposite. It's actually, it's the opposite. You are energized, and you do, like we spoke about it before, you will do things. You will just be up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning, and you do your thing, you know, whilst if you would, let's say you would plan that, then it's forced, you know, I have to get up 4 a.m. so I get lots of stuff done. This, you know, the difference, like the empowered way and the disempowered way, and you know, obviously that, and also with workouts. And that's something I will talk about more, especially me coming from an athletic background. We are so used to this pushing, and trust me, when you trust your intuition and you create your cycle and you really tune in, you can push far beyond. You have so much energy, but really tuning in. And that's for me, of course, because I'm coming from this since I'm 3 years old. I got trained by my father. Like that, for me, it's a very big unconditioning unlearning, and I'm still in the midst of it. Sometimes my mind can come still in and say, no, you need to push through now, you need to do that. But I will not do anything but like doing disservice to my own body, and I will not achieve anything. actually, right? But it's still a big journey to recondition that, and also then bringing it into the world of athletes, which is one of my big purposes as well, especially for female athletes as well. That's really, really important because your intuition will tell you. And intuition is not a fluff. Intuition is actually very neutral. And that's one thing I will share when I want to talk about that afterwards a bit for 10 minutes as well, about when I do little solo 10 minutes, about it's neutral. And sometimes intuition will guide us on a path which the ego will perceive as a bad experience because it was challenging, but it's actually not bad. It was there for us to grow, to develop a skill that we will need for something that's coming. But of course, we won't see it in that moment from an ego perspective. It's too, challenging.
Absolutely.
But later on, when you put the dots back together, you're like, oh my gosh, of course I needed that. And the intuition is just very neutral. That's and very subtle voice. It's just like very subtle, like a whisper. That's why whisper of the soul, all these like phrases we use. And then the mind is very loud. No, la 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 la. It's very, very loud, very like shatter. It's really disturbing for me. Actually, I can feel it's really disturbing. Yeah,
it is very disturbing.
Yeah. And so when intuition is flow, I love that. Flow is beautiful. And that's why we are doing guidance business, right? That's a new way of doing businesses. And that's why we connect on so many levels.
It's much more fun.
Yeah, it's actually fun. That's why when people ask me about work, when are you working, when are you free, I said, there's no difference. You can watch me and you will never know if I'm working, or if I'm doing something fun, because it's all the same. Of course, we have certain boundaries, like when I say like one-on-one availability for clients, like you need to have boundaries because you need to have time for yourself. I'm not saying that, but in terms of like what I'm doing, writing, channeling, whatever, this kind of stuff, and that's fun. It's energizing, it's beautiful. And that's why we spread the message for people to actually trust the intuition and the inner guidance, of the soul, so they can actually live the life they dream of, right? Like we do. Yeah. And it's a process. Of course, it's a process. Yeah.
Choice.
It's a choice
as well. Like
choice.
That's what we get. I think it's like deconditioning from society, how it's been, the projection of the mass consciousness, and how there's such like a willpower, do, like doing equals action equals, results, things like that. And so it's a deprogramming from that. And the intuition is your natural way of being. So coming back into your natural state and allowing that to guide you, as opposed to other people's thoughts, opinions,
judgments,
whatever, to guide you. So really just making that conscious choice is the first step.
Yeah.
and then allowing yourself to experience, because we all have intuition available to us. It's a matter of, are we willing to listen? The voice is here. Are we listening to the voice?
And something that I want to say for who is listening, I did, like, I've been marketing and business coach for 6 years, which it was all about strategy. So if I did it, everyone can do it. If I did let it go of that, and really sometimes has been challenging, because of course that comes in, like my marketing and business knowledge sometimes comes in, and that doesn't mean that we do not use that. That doesn't mean that we don't use that. There is, I feel like, still like a 20% required to run a successful business, even if it's in this way with intuition. At the same time, it's possible. It's just about really detaching from it, because we are so attached and we want to control and micromanage every single thing. And that's when the mind comes in. You have to do it in this way, because if you don't do it in this way, it's not going to work. But who say that? Of course, people that sell that stuff, obviously. And it comes from a place of not surrendering. And I think like there is a big part of surrendering here that is required for us that want to lead this life with just our intuition. You have to surrender. You have to surrender at a certain point, and trusting that your own intuition has been enough. They have been enough. When I'm doing content with Mark right now, and we do that with the intuition, the downloads that we receive, and sometimes, it's still freaking out.
Yeah, the nervous system is still.
And say, oh, yeah, but that's going to be enough. Yes, yeah, it's going to be enough. Because that, it comes from source, comes not from us. That's going to be enough. And let's let God and whatever you believe it to be true, universe, spirit guide, whatever, come in and help us to take the next step. Let's trust it. And it's all about trusting and surrendering, which is, I know it's not easy. It's not easy, especially if you're not used to it. Like me and Mark and you, Mia, as well in the past, especially if we are not used to this. Of course, it's not easy to do it at first. It's a muscle. You have to train every single day, and then it becomes easy, because now it's easy, much easier.
Yeah, and you can gather evidence, can't you? Really, you can reflect.
Yeah,
like what you said, Mia, as well, like
the evidence,
putting the dots back together, looking backwards.
Exactly.
You can start to gather evidence and proof. Actually, like, oh, I have been guided. I have been.
Exactly.
And then, oh, I trust my intuition here, and this has led to this beautiful opportunity. So starting to really point your awareness and attention onto the evidence that you're gathering, that yes, living in alignment, living with your intuition is possible, and it does give you so many beautiful fruits, where then you can let go of the responsibility of having to be in control of the outcome.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful when you can co-create with God, the universe, in that way. And there's plenty of evidence if you choose to actually bring your awareness to that.
One more example for your listener, that this is going to be powerful for them. I think I'm channeling this, Mia, by the way. My intuition led me to connect with this man. Okay. So for who doesn't listen, I'm going to really take you through the process of the intuition, and which is the work that I did with Mia for months. The intuition led me to this man 2 days before going to Europe. For how long? I had no idea. Just breaking up after 9 years relationship, 1 month and a half, not even and a half, having this intuition to connect with this man, which we already were connecting, but as a friend and client, so it was a completely different relationship. I had this intuition to message him and connect with him, you know, just a couple of days before going to Europe to have fun, and had no idea if I will ever back to Australia. So it didn't make any sense, but I did trust my intuition, and that intuition led me to meet this man, and then unlock my channeling gift, my true purpose, starting my new business, meeting this incredible woman, Mia, that helped me to heal all the part of myself that really needed a lot of healing in order to unlock what is coming next. And now I'm here doing this podcast all after 6 months. Yes. So I think the intuition sometimes are really worth it to be listening. And it all started from one intuition only, to connect with him. Did I know how it's going to go? I had no idea. Did it make sense? It didn't make any sense, because at that time, Mark was married. Okay. So it did make no sense to me to connect with him, but it was an intuition. It was my inner voice, and I listened. I had the courage to listen at that time with no idea how all of this will work. And when I back to Australia, I had no idea how this will go.
It's beautiful. It's a trust, right?
It's a trust. It's a trust.
Only develop trust through experience. That's the only way. The same with the relationship. What we do first, we open our trust, but to really develop it, it takes time, right? And the experience, like that's what I always tell people. It's a practice. That's the most honest truth about intuition. Become your own student. And really like study yourself, write things down like we said before, so you have evidence. Like just with my own experience with the nomadic lifestyle, you guys know, like most of my listeners do too, like how I do it with trusted house sitters, and sometimes it's not seamless, like one thing after another, and it could be a situation where I'm like, maybe have 2 days left, I don't know where to go, where to live, and sometimes even 30 cents on my bank account, which is, I trusted that. I don't freak out anymore, not at all, just because I had this many times in the past. And I'm not saying this is something to keep going living on, but it's, for me, that was a big and the greatest exercise, so to speak, to develop complete trust and really knowing that this all gonna be working out as long as I, trust my intuition. And I'm just adding one more thing. I was in a situation that was twice before, and every normal human being, the mind, following the mind, I had two different, I think these were offers where I could have stayed for maybe a couple of weeks, and I declined it, even being in this like survival mode. Like, listen to that. It's crazy. I even told myself, what the fuck are you doing, Mia? You're needing something. And yeah, I just speak because that's how, when I channel, my energy come through. And then I was like, what are you doing? It didn't make sense. But my inner guidance system was so strong. I was tuning and I was like,
go with this place. And I felt this constriction. I felt nauseous. I got this extreme signs. I said no. And I had to trust. And honestly, something much greater shaped up, and literally within 24 hours, not even, now people would probably be like, but then you freak out. You need to do lots of things like send out messages, go on trusted house sitters, whatever, I was able to do to take action on that. But I didn't. I actually did the complete opposite. I relaxed and I did something that brought joy to me, because I knew I already had taken the action, and it literally came like that. It was beautiful. And that was new to me too, because I was like, wow, that was like a next level thing. But I was able to do that because I had the experience and I had more confidence with that. So
sometimes we have those moments, and then of course now we are more able to relax. Like today I had like a little bit of a challenge with Kajabi, with my platform that I used to have my old business, which is, I know it has to go, and it's time to really go. And I'm starting the process on, downloading all the videos and moving all my courses in a different thing until we have our own platform, our new platform with the new energy. And I started to be like, because it does drain me and things like that. And I say, you know what? I'm surrendering to this. I'm just surrendering now. I'm just relaxed. We go to the beach. We just chill. We just relax. And then I'm surrendering to this, and I'm going to look into this tomorrow, another day. I'm just letting go. And that's what we do now when we feel like it's the tension, when we feel that it's not really flowing. Instead of pushing like what I used to do before with the willpower business stuff, now we are just relaxing and we're surrendering, and we just wait. And let's see if maybe, something is going to happen.
Yeah. Plus, what happened as well, Sara, is when we're driving to the beach, then these ideas came of not to delete the whole Kajabi right now, because it's linked to the emails and that's still sending out like web pages and things like that. Had we have just gone and in that rushing energy and did everything and deleted it, we would have actually cancelled out like our website that links everyone to come into our new program.
Exactly.
Right? Which comes from giving yourself that space.
That space.
Yeah. And then driving to a different, location, changing your environment.
Because there was the mind. There was the mind coming in now, and say, you need to do this, rah, 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 rah. And that's when I get frustrated. That's when I know that it's not in my own intuition, but it's the mind. Because I get frustrated. I get, even if technology drain me, which is true, but that's another reason why technology does drain us right now, which is a completely different story, which is what we were talking about before doing the podcast, Mia. But I know that when it comes from the intuition, I don't feel that way. It is still something that I can't do for a long time, but it just flows easily because we do emails, we do content, we do everything very fast when it comes from the intuition. When it's not the intuition, it feels very hard, very frustrating. And that's when I know that I have to take a step back and just pause. And that's what we did. And then Mark said, wait a minute, why we are doing all of this? We really still need that. Maybe we just fix this problem with Kajabi and then we just keep it for now. Let's just do one thing, which is going to be like 1 hour of work. And then that's it. And then we're going to think about this in the future when the time is right. Boom, problem solved.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. I know we could talk for hours.
I know. We stop now.
It was so beautiful because I also do like a little solo wrap up afterwards. But thank you so much for sharing. And guys, if you want to know the whole story and everything that Sara and Mark have experienced and will continue to experience and share with the world, because it's an ever unfolding and growing, which is beautiful, you can find the details in the description box below that I will add, and you can connect with them. And if it'll also connect through me if you have any questions. But yeah, it's amazing. It was so cool to have you on, and I wanted to have you as my first guest. And funny, this is another intuition thing, because actually I recorded a podcast with Alina with light language, which will be posted on next week after that one, but the intuition one, and I didn't plan that with you guys, and that's my wrap up for this episode. I had my intuition like a solo one because I can talk about it and I have so much evidence to share and stories. I thought, yeah, beautiful. And I got this guidance was it last Saturday? And I already downloaded and wrote my blog, blah, blah, blah. And then this morning, because we were only meant to catch up to talk about business and some, workshops we do online. And this morning, and I woke up and literally, I woke up and said, hey, just tell, like, message Sara right now to tell her that we gonna talk about intuition. Just a short one, if they are keen and up for it. Gave them a heads up of 3 hours so they can get ready for and do their beauty stuff. I'm joking. But this is how it went. And now you are my first guest. Isn't that amazing? Because I just let it go and I was okay to do it whenever. And now through this morning, and now we're sitting here and recording this. Guys, this is how it works. It's beautiful, beautiful flow. I felt like, obviously, you are, my soul family. I'm talking to my family, and it's just like beautiful and just beautifully aligned and so much energy. And I hope that you all guys can feel it and you get amplified and you really get encouraged to trust yourself. Yeah, that's it. Do you have anything you add?
A lot of love for you.
A lot of love for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That beautiful wrap up could feel like energized now.
Yeah.
Thank you for being you. You've been in our journey.
You are our star. You know, we had the most beautiful romantic ritual Saturday night.
Oh yeah.
Thanks to you. So
you're very welcome. And you can hear all about that, guys, when you follow Sara and Mark, because they will share about it more and more. I'm excited. Thank you so much. And ti amo. I love you.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye.
No.
Hey guys, just to wrap this up, there's a little bit of a solo part here, and I wanted to share just some practical tips with you guys that you can implement right here, right now, and today to help you to train your muscle, your intuition. As we already spoke about with Mark and Sara, it was very, very amazing. Why my personal advice is, firstly, become your own student. And I mentioned that before, become your own student. Really study yourself like a scientist would study the whole cosmos. Write things down, like whatever things come through to you, whatever downloads or feelings, write them down. So that's your reference point. And yes, make mistakes, do trial and error. Like sometimes, and we will all do that, we will still be the slave to the mind, or we will just not listen to our inner voice. And that's beautiful. That's perfect. Like for example, someone may ask you to join them, like in a cafe, a friend or something, and you're not quite sure, then try it, go for it. And in the process, you will get guidance, how it feels. If it feels like training, if you're still like contemplating, it's a no. I personally learned, if I'm contemplating, it's a no. And if you get a clear sign, like, oh, no, that feels like training, it feels like not good, it's not energizing you, it's also a no, right? But we have to make mistakes and then reflect back and see, oh, I shouldn't have gone. I felt it, but it's good because that will be your guidance system. And then you will learn more and more things about yourself, how your body responds, how you feel. Maybe you have certain signs, or you see things or something that is your personal guidance system that will be developing, or you will be able to develop that over time the more often you do it. And then the moment you feel it, next time you're like, Anna, I'm not doing it, or yes, this is a big yes. Okay. So this is a very, very practical tip. And people ask me often, how can I learn to tune more and more into my intuition? And it's practice, guys. Practice, practice, practice. It's like, you're not expecting abs from going one time to the gym or doing a plank one time, right? This is insane. So you have to do trust and approach your intuition the same way. Like if you were to go to the gym and train your muscle, you have to do it every single day and choose that. And through that practice, you develop confidence because you get the experience. And this is how you develop it. That's as simple as that. But it's not like you guys don't have intuition, or because we all have that. It's like trusting yourself. Most people don't trust themselves. And this is where you have to take the leap of faith and just go for it. And like for once, like do even one day, do it with simple things. And Sara and Mark mentioned that before. Do it with simple things like with your food. What should I have for dinner? Or if you go for a walk, trust your intuition. Should I go take the left or right turn? Just play with those little things and make it fun. Honestly, there's nothing worse than trying to force this and making a task and let the mind take over. Make it fun because it's meant to be fun. And once you do follow your intuition, everything will be a flow that things that may appear to other people as challenges or big things, like, yes, going to the gym is a flow. It's an intuitive, it's also a very intuitive process to work with your body, to shape your body, and allow that, because you will have much more energy. It will be much more fun, and it will be energizing and activating for others as well. And of course, I mentioned that before too. It was a big learning for me too. Intuition is neutral, so it may sometimes lead you towards experiences that your ego perceives as negative or like, yeah, bad, but they actually aren't. That is for you. There's something for you to learn, something to grow, a skill that you will develop, an experience that you need to have for something that is yet to come and that will follow. And that's the most beautiful, beautiful thing. And I had that experience, like I shared before, with my places to go a lot over the past year, where I literally had to really trust my intuition, even though I was in an emergency situation where I actually needed a place to live and I couldn't even afford to, like book like an Airbnb or something like that. I trusted that feeling, and it was totally not making sense at all. If anything, it was insane from a mind's perspective. But I trusted it, and I'm so glad I did, because, and I don't even need to find out why it was. For some places I did afterwards, but sometimes it could even be maybe the travel towards that place. Maybe there would have been an accident, maybe something, I don't know. We don't know. There are infinite possibilities what could have been, but this is not for us to figure out. And yeah, it is very much uncomfortable because it's new to most of you guys out there to trust your intuition. Because like we are so used to use the mind and to go and the structure and the plan, but the more you do it, the more also your nervous system will get used to it, and you will train your whole body, your whole system to tune into that. So honestly, living a soul-led life, living from the core of your being, trusting your intuition, is the best thing ever. I feel so alive, and the more you keep your vessel clear, the more you will be able to receive. And that brings me to the last point I wanted to talk about, is you really have to keep your body clear as well. That is your vessel. That is how you receive messages. Yeah. And if your body is, excuse my French, full of shit, you're not able to trust that. You will be like, there are dense energies within your body, pulsating through every cell of your body, that will keep you into the lower vibration. Right? There's so much when we talk about the energetic field. And like we said before, even your room, your environment, it's full of clutter. You're not able to receive the information, not free and available to source energy. You're not. Everything is full. Also, if you have people in your life who are not supportive of you, of your highest version, and support you in your being, this is clutter too. And of course, then all the emotions and trauma that comes with it, if you are surrounded by people that are actually not aligned anymore with who you are becoming, right? So this is big. Don't underestimate that. Every single thing that is within you, without you, in your field, energetic field, emotional field, in your body, has an impact on that. And the clearer and you are, the more clearer of a channel you will be, and you will be able to receive. It's like a radio station. If the signal is just very blurry and like, you're like, you're somewhere, sorry, I'm not very good at imitating that sound, but if you're somewhere where you can't receive that, then the message will be just very blurry and it will be not clear. But if you are at a clear place, you're able to receive. That's about it. And guys, if you want to train that, I have some freebies as well to tune more into intuition. These are like soul activations. They're available and you can access them on my website. I will leave all the details in the description box below. And months ago, I channeled this beautiful, beautiful 30 days or 30 like lessons, I would say, because you can use it in your own intuitive way. Elevate course, where I will give practical tips, like 30 of them, where you learn to tune into your soul guidance, your intuition, and like tips that I share with you that have helped me in the past and that can possibly help you if you feel aligned with that. And if you want to find out more, you can DM me, or you find everything in the description box as well. It's very powerful. took me some time to channel that, and I have a few people using it, and everyone says it changed their life and helped them to learn more to trust themselves. So let me know if that feels aligned with you, and I will tell you more about it. And lastly, remember that this is a very unique process. It's very intuitive. So there is just your way, and you can only learn to trust yourself by actually listening to yourself first and foremost. Always tune in to yourself. What is your inner guidance? How do you feel? And from that place, only from that place, it's the best way to feel empowered, and then seek outside guidance and external help, because we all need help. And it's great to have external help and mentors and inspiration from others, because that's what we're here for. We are here to inspire each other, because at the end of the day, we are all one. We work together, we collaborate, and when we do that, we can expand and we can amplify things, and this will just help us all at large. And that's what we're actually here for. So this is all what I wanted to share with you guys today, and I know there will always be so much more to share. But if you have any questions, then please maybe tell us, what was your favorite part? What resonated the most with you? What activated you? Or perhaps maybe there was stuff that didn't align with you. Please share that with us as well. And I'm always happy to hear from you, and always happy to talk to you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and subscribe, share with anyone you feel who needs to hear this. Thank you so much for your time. I value you and I love you. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Din's Talk. I hope today's conversation sparked something within you. Remember, you have the power to align with your soul, take bold action, and live a life fueled by passion. Don't forget to subscribe, share with others, and leave a comment if this episode resonated with you. And as always, do it, never stop. Until next time, keep claiming your fire and your power.